Hey guys, how's it going? Hope you're doing well. My name is Crown, and today I'm going to read you some very interesting stories that I hope that you're gonna love. And now, without further ado, let's go!
Lucy has this fun little story for us. She used to be a waitress at a restaurant in an army town in order to pay for college. This restaurant, as I said, was higher end. It was rare for kids to eat there to begin with. However, on the 14th of every month, there is a no children night. You have to show your ID to prove you're over 18. These nights are also a bit fancier than usual. There is a dress code check, 5-course menus, more expensive ingredients, and the works. You also need the reservation and pay in advance to have a dinner there on no children's night. These nights are so popular that reservations are made at least a month in advance. As you can probably guess, the patrons love it. Well, most of them anyway. Lucy normally worked summers, but when it was the holidays, she'd work there for some extra cash. She was back in town around Valentine's Day, February 14th, her junior year of college, when the owner, John, called and asked her if she was willing to work the night as they were short-staffed. He even promised her a free meal of her choice. Lucy agreed, knowing that she was going to expect a good night in tips alone. Valentine's Day is the most popular no-children night for pretty obvious reasons. Lucy saw more than one woman wearing a fur coat and wearing expensive jewelry. There were even a few officers in dress uniform. The night was swinging, and then things went to hell in a handbasket. Lucy was carrying a tray of food to a table when all of a sudden, she's body slammed by someone. She lost her balance and fell, sending food and plates everywhere. Fortunately, she was more surprised than anything else. There, running around the restaurant like it was on fire, were 3 kids, ranging in ages from 10 to 2. They are darting under tables, pushing other patrons, screaming, shouting, laughing, just being obnoxious. John rushes over to Lucy. "Are you okay?" he asked, helping her to her feet. "Yeah, I'm fine," Lucy said. "Thanks." At this point, a couple of patrons and the other servers are catching the little hooligans. Another server arrives with a dustpan and broom and takes control of the mess. John rounds up the kids, drags them back to the front, and Lucy sees the entitled jerk and his wife, Karen, are being there. "What are your children doing here?" John asked. "Well, the sitter cancelled at the last minute," the entitled jerk said. "It's no children's night. I would have given you a refund had you told me." John shouted. "Your brat knocked over a waitress. It's a wonder she wasn't hurt." "Don't you dare call my children that," Karen said, wagging a bejeweled finger at John. "We pay good money to keep your lights on. You will seat all 5 of us, and don't expect a tip. No, you are going to take your children home, and your family are not coming back here, ever. Don't expect a refund either. Your money will be used to pay for the food and plates your brats ruined." The entitled family left, and Lucy assumed that was the end of it. But the night was not over yet. In the back of the restaurant, by the restrooms, there is a door that leads to the back parking lot. It's left unlocked during business hours and is equipped with an ear-splitting alarm, as it's a fire exit. Unfortunately, it was just a regular door, not one that can be only accessed by the inside. Sometime later, Lucy is introducing herself to some patrons when there is a loud ear-splitting siren. Lights above the fire alarms flash. Everyone leaves, thinking the kitchen is on fire or something, because the alarm is connected to the fire department, and they arrive with lights and sirens blaring. They arrive and check the building, and there is no signs of a fire anywhere. The fire department disengaged the alarm, and everyone returns to dinner. Lucy assumes it's a faulty alarm / someone accidentally opened the fire door and doesn't think more about it until after the night is over. She's enjoying a dish the chef prepared for her when John slumps in the chair across from her, looking defeated. "What's wrong?" she asked, and he proceeds to tell her. After the firefighters confirmed that there was no fire, John, like Lucy assumed, the alarm was either faulty or someone accidentally opened the fire door. He checked the indoor security camera aimed at the door, only to see it be opened from the outside. Suspicious, he checked the outdoor camera, and clear as day there is a 10-year-old entitled kid outside, pulling the door open before running off. As it's now a crime, John sends the footage to the police, and they pay a visit to the entitled family. At first, they tried to deny anything, but when the officer said that John was intending to press charges, the 10-year-old revealed that the entitled jerk and Karen had paid him $100 each to open the door and set off the alarm. Because of his age, the 10-year-old was in charge. However, CPS paid the family a lovely visit, and the entitled family settled out of court before John could sue the pants off of them. They had to pay for a brand new fire door, one that couldn't open on the outside, as well as a brand new alarm system, and John made sure to pick the best grade, i.e. most expensive on the market. From then on, the hostess would wait outside the restaurant to make sure that no children could get in. A little context. I have asthma. Been diagnosed ever since I was 3. The smell of pesticides and detergents are among the strongest triggers for me. I always have my inhaler with me, and I learned over the years to manage it. Now for the story. I was in the store shopping for some frozen breakfast burritos and toilet paper. I shop a lot at that store and usually stay away from the cleaning products aisle because of my asthma. But some rearrangements were made and I didn't know where the toilet paper was, so I was passing through many aisles. I came at the start of the cleaning products aisle, saw what it was, and immediately bolted. There was a lady in that aisle spraying air fresheners in the air to decide which one she liked, I guess, and saw me run away and she screamed at me, "Hey! Hey you! Come here!" I thought she was shouting at someone else as I wasn't wearing the uniform of the store and I had a basket in my hand. I was in the middle of my hunt for toilet paper when I felt a hand on my elbow. "I'm talking to you, you witch!" I turned around to see this lady, mask at her chin, with the ugliest shade of red lipstick. I'm asthmatic and high risk for COVID for other reasons as well. So I reacted fast by taking a few steps away and saying, "Please put on your face mask. I'm high risk." She seemed really angry and said, "You can't tell me what to do. I tell you what to do. You work for me. Now come here and smell these for me and tell me which one is better." I saw this upcoming scene in slow motion, her taking off the lid of the bottle and spraying the product in my face, twice, so I can compare between the two smells. I was already getting iffy ever since she came close to me because she smelled of the air fresheners, so my attack had already started before she sprayed. I quickly threw the basket in my hands and started looking for my inhaler in my backpack. After I got it out, she quickly grabbed my hand and told me, "Help me first, then get to your drugs, you brat." My chest was becoming really tight now. I pushed her away, causing her to stumble back a few steps, and quickly grabbed my inhaler and saved my life. I was still catching my breath and coming down from the adrenaline rush from this whole interaction when I heard, "There she is! Fire her! Arrest her! I want her in jail!" I looked up to see the woman who looked like a manager. The manager looked absolutely mortified, his eyes wet wide, and he said, "Miss, are you okay?" while helping me stand up. He grabbed my shopping basket and picked up things that dropped from my backpack. "I'm better now, I just need to sit down and catch my breath," I told him. "No, you're going to fire her first. She can breathe on the way to the police station for assaulting an elderly." The Karen said she looked no older than 35 years old to me. "Elderly who?" The manager tells her. "Shut up, you idiot." The manager completely ignored her screaming and led me to his office, where I sat by the window to breathe a little. This all happened while Karen was screaming at our backs. Apparently someone had called the police because 5 minutes after we were in the office, the police were knocking on a door. "Yes, finally!" The manager asked me, "Would you like to press charges?" Karen's face was a carbon copy of Pikachu's shocked face. "What are you talking about? I'm the one who was assaulted by this employee." I finally had the energy to scream at her. "Oh, how can you be so stupid? I obviously don't work here. I also very obviously just had an asthma attack right in front of you. Who do you think you are, witch?" The police officer asked us for other stories. I explained what happened, and of course, told the whole story. Karen said some nonsense that the police officer looked absolutely done with. He asked for the CCTV and the manager gladly obliged and showed him the footage. I said that I want to press charges for assault. The police officer put the woman in cuffs and took her away. The manager gave me my stuff for free and offered to call an ambulance, but I told him I was fine and used to my asthma. I got home and enjoyed my burrito. Hey everyone, hope you're doing well and having a good time. I've got some exciting news for you. I've just launched a brand new channel called Crown Corner that I will be narrating stories on it daily myself. Let's just say that if you love hearing about unbelievable entitled people and those unforgettable Karens, you're going to love what's in store on the new channel. So here is what I need from you, my good friends. Head over to the new channel, you'll find a link in the description below, and hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you won't miss out on any of our wild stories. Your support means the world to me, and I can't wait to see you there. Let's keep the stories rolling. Thank you so much for being part of this journey with me. And now, let's dive into our stories. This took place back when I was a teenager and so deep in the closet, I was still trying to convince myself I liked boys. My boyfriend at the time, let's call him Kyle, always pestered me about playing Need for Speed with him. I like video games well enough and actually would play with him a lot, but racing games are not my thing. I told him as much, but he insisted I give it a try. Fine, I decided to give it a go. Now, I'm the kind of gamer who plays for the sake of playing. If I win, great, but mostly I'm just looking to have a good time. Kyle was not on the same page. He could get really intense about his games. That's fine, but I get really annoyed whenever the person I play with starts bugging me about my performance. Kyle recommends I try a police chase game and I obliged. While I'm playing, he's doing these kinds of jerking movements as he's following along, all the while giving me instructions in a sharp tone like our lives depend on it. Anytime I scrape a wall or go off course, he actually yells at me. I tell him to stop, but he actually ignores me and keeps shouting. As is often the way, the more he yells, the more mistakes I make and so on. I play along the best I can, but after a while I've finally had enough. Right in the middle of the car chase, with police sirens getting louder, I stop the car abruptly, saying nothing. Just stop in the right lane and let go of the keyboard. Kyle actually sputters and does this kind of cartoonish double take between me and the screen in disbelief. "What the hell are you doing?" he shouts at me. I point at the screen and, with my best poker face and my most innocent tone of voice, I just say, "Light red." I shall remember the look on his face until the day I die. Strangely enough, he never asked me to play that game again. Okay, I don't know if this would be the right subreddit, but here we go. Yesterday I was going to my grandparents' house for Christmas, and when I closed the door, I realized I had left my keys inside my house. My grandpa went to my brother's job and asked him for his keys, but he had taken the keys that didn't work at all, so I couldn't get into my house. And the keys, mine and his, that worked perfectly were inside, and the other ones were with me. I had no better idea than to climb onto my neighbor's roof and try to open my window. We live on the second floor. I did, but the obvious thing happened. I stepped on a tile and the tile didn't resist my weight. It went down with me. Somehow I managed to get out of the house through the same hole I made in the roof. I went back to the ground. A neighbor told me that another neighbor, let's call her Maria, knew the house owner, so I went to Maria's house and told her what happened. She gave me the owner's number, I will call her owner Brett, but Brett didn't answer our calls. And the person who lives in the house, Brett rents it out, arrived. I went and told him what happened, apologized and said I will pay for the tile I broke. Let's call him Matt. He was obviously angry about it and started yelling at me. I told him we were trying to contact the owner, but Matt said that I had to give the money to him. I told him no. I was going to give the money, yes, but I'm going to give it to the owner. Brett finally arrived and Maria and I love you lady, told her what happened. Obviously, Brett was mad, but she was more relaxed than Matt. My grandpa arrived at that moment and I told him what was happening, and he started talking to Brett. I had already said I was going to pay, so she was more calm. She told me I was an idiot for doing that, and obviously I agreed. Then my grandfather and Brett exchanged information, and they were going to see exactly how bad the damage I did was. Brett and my grandfather were inside the house, but Matt didn't allow them to go in. He almost hit my grandpa. I'm very thankful I didn't see that because I would have gone crazy if Matt had touched my grandfather. So Brett couldn't see the damage, and Matt didn't even want her to give him some tiles while we bought new ones. So yes, even 24 hours later, his roof is broken and without a temporary replacement. Anyway, my grandfather and Brett reached an agreement that he, actually me because I'm going to give the money, is going to pay for the new tiles, and everything is settled. But that has to wait because, well, it happened on Christmas, and tomorrow, today, was a holiday. And it was very difficult for someone to open a place to buy them. Then Brett tried to talk to Matt and tell him that meanwhile the new tiles arrived, she could give him some of hers. But he didn't accept. Some background: we live on the East Coast and his family lives in Texas. My family lives about 4 hours away. They drive to us for every holiday, birthday, dance recital, and so on. We have lived here for roughly 7 years. Before that, we lived in Texas. His family takes several trips, vacations a year, and only once, this past year, came to visit us. Over the 7 years, we have gone to visit them at minimum 1 to 3 times per year. My husband works out of town about 3 weeks a month, so it's a lot of solo parenting for me. The weekend before Christmas, he went with his parents and siblings to Oklahoma to visit his grandparents. Myself and my children were unable to go as my daughter had holiday things going on at home she didn't want to miss. He came home the Monday before Christmas and asked if we could swing a trip to Texas after Christmas to see his family, and so his dad and him could go to the Alamo Bowl. I told him that we unfortunately couldn't. We really couldn't swing an unplanned trip financially right now, and was wanting to travel so close to the holidays, booking prices were extremely high. I also explained to him that our daughter had off of school and all sports this week, and that never happens, especially when he's home too. And I really wanted this to be a week for us to all spend together, especially since he will start traveling for work again on the 2nd of January and will not be home until the last week of January. The day before Christmas Eve, I was out shopping and he texted me saying that he knew I was going to be mad, but his dad had booked him a flight and bought tickets for himself, my husband, my brother-in-law, and mother-in-law to all go to the game. He would return the 30th. I got upset because we had already talked about going, and I said that we just couldn't swing it this year. His response was that he knew nothing about this and his dad surprised him with it for a last-minute Christmas gift. Which is a lie, because they mailed our gifts to us and our children, and he had received an Xmas gift. I asked him if everything had already been purchased, as I would like him to not go. He said yes, and that he was going because it's something he really wanted to do. We haven't spoken much since then, honestly, because I feel very hurt that he doesn't want to spend time with myself and our children before a long work trip, after he's just seen his family last week. I would rather spend most of the week with his parents. He says that we could just book flights for myself and our kids to go, but we honestly don't have the money and I'm not maxing out the credit card for an unplanned trip. Tonight he asked me if I will be driving him to the airport tomorrow morning for a 6 a.m. flight. I told him that he will need to book an Uber because I'm not walking our kids up at 3:30 a.m. to drive an hour each way to the airport, that I don't even want him going on. He says that I am being unreasonable. So Reddit, am I? And now some comments on the post. Someone saying you're not a jerk for not wanting to wake yourself and kids up early to drive him to the airport. But for me personally, if my husband wanted to go on a once-in-a-lifetime, all-expenses-paid trip to see a football game with his family, I'd let him go. Another commenter adds, not the jerk. I might suggest that while he's away, you spend some time seriously thinking if this is what you want out of life. You deserve to be top priority, which clearly is not happening here. The third commenter goes with, he's being selfish. He's making decisions without you and ignoring that he has a family that needs him. He's acting like a person without any commitments, not a partner. The kids aren't going to know him if he's like this.
And now we have reached the end of today's stories. Thank you for watching and see you next time.